Morning. Last class, what we have done? We have done accounting for overheads. In that, we had seen we classify the departments into production department and which department? Service department. Okay, production department renders work to the customers. That will have an output. Department A, department B, department C will manufacture something. What is that something? It can be the same product or a different product they may manufacture, or it is like three different processes like that. They do the work on the product or they do the work for the customers. Service department renders service to which department? Production department. That's what we have seen in the last class. So we take direct expenses of which department? Service department only. Why? Because it may be a direct expense for service department, but it's an indirect expense for production department. Because we discuss only about which one? Overheads, not material labor cost. So service department direct expenses are becoming which one? Indirect expenses. Indirect expense to which department? Production department. Then we had seen on a suitable basis we apportion the overheads. Sir, what is the basis? It depends on what is the nature of expense, what is the basis available for distribution. We get the total overheads. We get the total overheads. So we apportion on a suitable basis. We get the total overheads. Service department, for example, department X may be like a maintenance department that maintains machine for ABC. Department Y may be like a stores department that will supply stores and materials required for ABC. They don't do any production work. They exist to render service to which department? Production department. And all the service department expenses will be reallocated to production department. That is called as secondary distribution. Service department expenses are reallocated to which department? Production department. Then once you reallocate, this cost that gets added, we get total cost including service department cost. This is what we had seen. We had done primary distribution. Thereafter, we have learned about secondary distribution, like how to apportion the expenses. We had seen cost of X we allocated in 5:3:2. Cost of Y we allocated in 2:3:4. We got the total overheads. We had also seen how to charge the overheads to customers, also a small problem. I hope this was a homework question. Hope you tried it. I've also given the solution, of course, in the previous video itself. If not, indirect material will be allocated directly. Indirect wages are allocated directly. Like indirect material and indirect wages are already allocated and given. Then rent based on area, repairs based on plant value, depreciation based on plant value, lighting based on area, supervision based on number of workers. Insurance depends on which one? Value of stock. Employees insurance based on wages. Power based on horsepower of machine. In this question, horsepower of machine is not available, so we apportioned based on which one? Plant value. Okay, so this is a kind of a primary distribution. Primary distribution. Now, go through this question. It's a complete problem. An IMA essay type question can be tested. A company has three production department. A, B, C are having products. That means they do the production work. D and E are service department. They are rendering service to other departments. The following figures are given to you. Rent and rates, general lighting, indirect wages, power, depreciation on machine, sundries are given to us. Sundries are given to us. Okay. The following further data is available. Floor space is given. Based on floor space, we will allocate which one? Rent. Based on light points, we will allocate what? General lighting. Indirect wages will be apportioned based on direct wages. Power will be allocated based on horsepower of machines. Depreciation on machine depends on value of assets. Depreciation depends on what? Value of assets. Any sundry expenses can be apportioned based on, it's like miscellaneous expenses, based on wages. Based on wages. Why? Because more production, more wages. So more production, more wages, more factory overheads. So wages and factory overheads are connected to each other. You do more work, more wages will come. So more work, more sundry expenses also, factory expenses also. So like this we'll do primary distribution. Primary distribution we'll do. Thereafter, expenses of D and E are to be allocated. What is D and E? D is a service department. D's expenses will be allocated to A, B, C as well as E. If you look at D is rendering service to A, B, C as well as E, and E is rendering service to A, B, C as well as D. This is called as reciprocal service. D render service to E render service to what? E, D. Okay, service department also mutually do the services. So we'll do this particular secondary distribution part. Okay, how to allocate the service department expense to production department we'll see. First, I request you to do primary distribution of overheads. Primary distribution of overheads. Okay, it will be there in the screen. I request you to try this. Particulars and 6 columns you maintain, apportion the expenses. Apportion the expenses. Try to apportion the expenses on a suitable basis. Do the primary distribution alone. Okay. First check, is there any direct material and direct wages? Direct material and direct wages, yes, given. So is there any direct expenses? First you check. Is there any direct expenses? Yes. Direct wages, only for D and E you will take. Then apportion all the expenses. Apportion all the expenses. No need to copy the question. It will be there in the display. I request you to try the primary distribution alone. Try பண்ணுங்க. Maintain particulars and how many columns? 5 columns. So first take indirect wages for which department? Indirect wages for which department? D and E only. That is direct wages for E, D and E only. That is wages and which one? Wages and which one? That is what? Only wages are given. Material is not available. So 1500, 500 you take it only for D and E. Then apportion all the expenses on a suitable basis. Try பண்ணுங்க. check your answers. Wages, we'll take it only for service department. Rent based on area, general lighting based on light points. Then direct wages, indirect wages based on direct wages. Power based on horsepower of machines. Depreciation based on value of assets. Sundries based on direct wages. So we get the total for production department and which department? Service department. We get the total for production department and which one? Service department. This is called as primary distribution. Then what is a secondary distribution? Service department do not have customers or work to be done. Service departments exist, to render service to which department? Production department. They are existing to render service to which department? Production departments. The purpose of service department is just to render service to which department? The production department. So expense of D and E will be reallocated to production department. I request you to do it along with me. This is called as secondary distribution. There are two methods of solving this. I'll explain both the methods. Okay, what is secondary distribution? Simple. Take the departments A, B, C, A, D, and which one? E. Let us take the total overheads as per primary distribution. 7550. Please do it along with me. Don't wait. 7,200, 9650, 4625, and 1575. Now, how to allocate this expenses? How to allocate this expenses? Look at this. Expense of D. Take the expense of D. This 4,625 will be apportioned in which ratio? 20, 30, 40 and 10%. 20, 30, 40 and 10%. First let me take expenses of D. Okay, expense of D, that 4,625, the ratio of 2:3:4:1. So 4,625 into 2 by 10. This is into 3 by 10. Four by 10 or 1 by 10. You can say 10% also. If you look at these expenses are redistributed like this. Then you take expenses of E. How much expense are we? Already how much we've got? 1575 plus this total 2037.5. Let us take expenses of which department? E. Do it along with me, don't wait. 40, 20, 30, 10. 2037.5 in the ratio of 40, 20, 30, 10. 4:3:40, 20, 30 and 10%. 40, 20, 30 and 10%. So we apportioned. The problem is this became positive. E's expenses when we allocate to D. So why are you doing this? Because D is rendering service to E. D's expenses 10% goes to E. E's expenses 10% goes to D. Now we have to take expenses of D again. Expenses of D. How much? 204. Let us take this as 204. Allocate to what? A, B, C, D, E. This is called as reciprocal services. D is rendering service to E and E is rendering service to what? D. So let us take this 204 and redistribute. How to distribute? 204 into 2 by 10. 204 into 3 by 10. 204 into 4 by 10. This is 204 into 1 by 10. It will become like 20. Now this became positive. The other one became what? Positive. Again, what to do? Expenses are V. Expenses are V. How much? 20. Expenses are V. 20. You have to allocate in which ratio? This 4:3:2:1 ratio. This 20 we have to take it and allocate. So why are you doing it again and again? Because it is called as reciprocal services. When you allocate D's expenses, it will go to E. E's expenses, it will go to what? D. So this 20 we will allocate in which ratio? 4:3:2:1. But one thing is, since it became a double digit answer, if you distribute again, it will be like 2.2, like that, it will keep on coming. So once it comes to double digit, you can stop allocating to ABC only. Because if you allocate here, it will come to only 2 rupees or $2. Okay. So it will be like 4:2:3:1. Okay. Let us not allocate it to E. Let us not allocate it to which one? E. Let us stop allocating only to D. That is ABC. Let us stop allocating to D. Allocate only to what? ABC. So 4:3:2 ratio. Arbitrarily, you can take like 8, maybe 4 or 5 or 7, like that. It's just an arbitrary number. 957 or 947. Like that, you can reallocate. So this will become 0. Automatically, this will become 0. This will also become what? 0. This is called as secondary distribution, where we take the total overheads as per primary distribution, then we keep reallocating. D's expenses are allocated to A, B, C as well as E. E's expenses, this is the total of these two, 2037.5. We allocated to A, B, C as well as D. Again, D became positive. So we allocated to A, B, C as well as E. Once it becomes a double digit number, you can stop allocating to which department? Production department. Now this will give us total overheads. This will become like 0. This will also be like 0. In the after secondary distribution, production departments will have overheads. Service departments overheads will become 0. Why? Because indirectly, if you look at service departments expenses are reallocated to which department? Production department. Let us take it as 9440, round it off. This is like 9060. This is like 2200. This is the total overheads. Okay, this is called as which one? Total overheads. Total overheads divided by number of hours. Number of hours which each department worked. Look at this number of hours. Working hours 6226 4028 4066. 6226. This one 4028. The other one 4066. Total overheads divided by number of hours will give us rate per hour. This is called as overhead recovery rate. Whenever work is done at this rate, we will work out the overheads. This will give us rate per hour. This is the total overheads. This is the number of hours for which the factory worked out. It's like 1.51. 2.493 or 3.005. So this is your which one? Overheads recovery rate. Otherwise, this is the rate at which the customer should be charged for the overheads. This is the rate at which the customer should be charged for the overheads. I repeat, we have done primary distribution, we got the total. Then we reallocated the service department expenses to which department? Production department. Thereafter, we worked out total overheads divided by number of hours. Total overheads divided by what? Number of hours gives us which one? Overheads recovery rate. Using this rate, we will quote the price for the customer. For example, whenever the customer is coming with an offer or order, we will work out raw material cost. We will work out wages, or you can say labor cost. And if there is any other direct expenses, we will take it. This is called as prime cost of a product. Prime cost of a product. Add overheads. Okay, depending upon how many hours you worked in department A, B, C, we will charge our customers. Okay, so material plus labor plus overheads will give us total cost. Based on that, we will charge our customers. I hope that is also given to us. Look at this. What is the factory cost of an article? Material is costing how much? 50. Material is costing how much? Like $50, let us take. Labor is costing how much? $30. No direct expenses are given. Material is costing 50. A customer is giving a job order, job work. Material is costing $50. Labor is costing $30. And there is no direct expenses given. There is no direct expenses given. So prime cost of the product is 80 rupees or $80. This is the prime cost of the product. Overheads are going to be absorbed based on number of hours for which you operate the factory. For example, for this job, we are going to use for 4 hours, 5 hours, 3 hours. So simple, 4 hours into 1.52. That is the rate for department A. Department B, 5 hours into 5 hours into 2.25. Department C, how many hours it works? 3 hours into 3 rupees. So this is the overheads we charge to the customer based on number of hours. This is the overheads we charge based on which one? Number of hours. So prime cost plus overheads will give us factory cost. So for the customer, this is the factory cost. You will add the profit margin and quote the price. You will add the profit margin and quote the price. This is the complete learning of overhead chapter. This problem is a complete learning of which one? Overhead chapter. We do the primary distribution and get the total. Then we reallocate the service department expenses to which department? Production department. Be very careful while doing the primary distribution. Any direct expense of service department only you should take it. Don't take it for production department. Reason is service department expenses, all expenses are indirect expense to production department, number one. Okay, number two, we are discussing about only which one? Overheads. So don't take material and wages in the production department. Okay, whenever a job order is coming, based on the job requirement, we'll charge material and wages and direct expenses directly. Don't take any direct expenses for production department because we are dealing only in which one? Overheads. So we get the total after the apportionment. We reallocate the service department cost to which department? Production department. Then total overheads in this question divided by number of hours, we get rate per hour. This is like for every 1 hour of work, this is the cost of each department. Okay, it's like $9,440 you spent for operating 6,226 means you spent about $1.5 per hour. Like that we work out for each department. Then we work out which one? The factory cost. We work out which one? The factory cost depending upon how many hours the factory is operated for the job. Please take it up. Sir, this we repeatedly distribute. Is there any shortcut method? Is there any shortcut method in which we can do? Yes, there is a shortcut method. That is called as equation method. That is called as which one? Equation method. We are going to form the equation and what? Solve this. Same thing. Is there any shortcut way in which we can do? Yes, there is a shortcut. It's just a mathematical equation method where in which we can reallocate the overheads. First copy this, then we will proceed. Have you taken?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sometimes they will ask you using equations method solve this. Using equations method solve this question. So that is much easier. Instead of doing this much work, we can do it very, very easily. Okay, let me explain the equation method. What is expense of D? 4625 plus how much it shares from the other department. How much it shares from the other department. How much of E's expenses goes to D? E's expenses going to D is how much? 10%. So expense of this one is nothing but 4625. Instead of 10%, I take it as 0.1 E. Then expenses of E is equal to, expense of E is equal to 1575 plus how much percentage goes to E? Look at expenses of D, 10% goes to E. Be very careful. E's expenses 40, 20, 30, 10% goes to D. Here both are 10%, so even if you make a mistake, that will not be a problem. Okay, expense of D, okay, 10% goes to E. D's expenses 10% shared with E. So again it is 0.1 D. So we get two equations. We can solve this. So D is equal to 4625 plus 0.1 into, instead of E, substitute the value of E. What is the value of E? 1575 plus 0.1 D. Okay, we are just substituting the value of which one? E. What is the value of E? 1575 plus 0.1 D. So an element outside the bracket should be multiplied with all elements inside the bracket. So D is equal to 4625 plus, listen carefully, 0.1 into 1575. 0.1 into 1575. 0.1 into 1575 will be what? 157.5. We can take it as 158 plus 0.1 into 0.1 D. It will become 0.01 D. 0.01 D. An element outside the bracket is multiplied with all elements inside the bracket. 158. This is 0.1 into 0.1 D. It will become 0.01 D. If you take this to the other side, it will become D minus 0.01 D will become like 4625 plus 158. Okay, D minus 0.1 D. D minus 0.1 D will become 0.99 D will be equal to 4783. So when you get, the value will be D is equal to how much? 4783 divided by 0.99. Multiplication will become division. If you do this, you will get the value for D. You get the value for which one? D. 4831.3. Substituting this, we can get the value of E. Substituting this, we can get the value of E. What is the value of E? 1575. 1575 plus 1575 plus 0.1 D. 0.1 D. What is the D value? 4831.3. Okay, 4831. So it will be like 483 you have to add. 2058. So we get the value of these two. So what is the value of D we got? 4831. What is the value of E we got? Do the allocation. Expense of D, this 4831, in which ratio? 2:3:4:1 ratio. 2:3:4:1 3:4:1 ratio. So 4831 into 2:3:4:1 ratio. Okay, it's like 483. Now take this 2058, 2058, 2058. In which ratio? In which ratio? Expense are we? 4:2:3:1. 4:2:3:1. 205.06 approximately. You can find automatically these two will become 0. Automatically these two will become 0. And the answer will be the same. The same answer you will get. Same answer you will get. And same overhead recovery rate also, same job cost. So this is called as equations method of solving. I repeat, expense of D 4625 plus 10% of E, expense of E 1575 plus 10% of D. We substitute and solve. D is equal to 4625 plus 10% of D. What is the D value? 1575 into 0.1 D. Multiply 0.1 into 157.5. 1575, okay, 0.1 into 0.1 D. Then we solve this and we get the value of D. Substituting that, we get the value of which one? E. Substituting that, we get the value of which one? E. Then taking both, we allocate. Where you can find automatically D and E will become 0. Other department cost you will get divided by number of hours will give us what? Overhead recovery rate. This is called as what? Equations method. Okay. So please copy this. Please take up this. And in this example, we are absorbing the overheads based on number of hours. For example, you give your material for cutting, carving, and other things. Depending upon number of hours for which the machine is used, I will charge you. For example, let us assume you are asking me to make some special boxes to pack your products. Okay, I take your order, take the specification. Then thereafter, I do the work in the factory. The factory I will roll, I will cut, I will pack and give. For all these things, machines are used. So department A may be like rolling department. Department B may be like the die making and cutting department. Department C may be like packing and of course making it ready for delivery. So depending upon number of hours which the factory is operated, I will charge you. So that is why total overheads divided by what? Total number of hours. This total overheads is not maybe per month or per year. Number of hours maybe per month or per year. This will give a overhead recovery rate. Recovery means how much you will charge the customer, how much you will recover from the customer. Overhead recovery rate we get. Based on that, we charge our customers. Direct expenses depending upon the specification. For example, you are asking me to make a sofa or a dining table. So material and wages depends on the specification given by you. Overheads are absorbed based on what? Number of hours for which the machine is operated. Please take it up, then we will proceed. Shall we proceed? So here we learned two things, primary, secondary, then how to recover overheads. In this question, we are absorbing the overheads based on what? Number of hours. We are absorbing based on which one? Number of hours. Okay. So how to charge overhead to the customers? We call it as overhead recovery rate. What do you mean by overhead recovery rate? The rate at which factory overheads are recovered, charged to customers. Okay. How to recover the overheads? Shall I put overheads divided by material cost into 100? Like this, can I work out based on material cost? Or can I do overheads divided by, don't copy this, I'll give you time to copy. We are going to go with an example. Can I do the overhead with labor cost, based on labor cost? Or can I charge overheads based on both material and labor cost? We call it as prime cost. Material and labor and overheads like that, or material and labor based on prime cost. Are we going to charge the customer? Or are we going to this is like percentage method. All these are which one? Percentage methods. Don't copy this. We are going to take it up along with the question so that it will be easy for you to remember also. Okay. Then, are we going to charge based on hourly rates? What do you mean by hourly rates? This can be based on machine hours. Overheads divided by number of hours which the machine is operated. Or are we going to charge overheads based on labor hours? What do you mean by labor hours? Number of hours which the labor has worked. Okay, so these are the 5 methods of charging overheads that are available to us. Overheads can be charged based on material cost, based on labor cost, or based on which one? Prime cost means we give weightage for both material and labor, material cost plus labor cost. Overheads can be based on number of hours which the machine has worked, or overheads can be charged based on which one? Labor hours. Okay, these are the methods available. Which method is suitable for what? Simple. The first method will be suitable when material determines the quality of the product, like gold ornaments, diamond cutting and polishing. For example, you purchase a gold ornament, a jewelry. Okay, how do they put making charges? Making charges is nothing but this overheads. How do they put making charges? They work out as a percentage of material, 5% wastage, 6% wastage, 8% wastage, like that. They work out as a percentage of which one? Material cost. Clear? So in case of gold ornaments, diamond and other things, they charge based on material cost because the value of material determines the value of the article. Maybe you could have ordered, of course, in India, silk saree or a dress, wedding dress, or it can be a silk saree. Or it's there depends on which one? The amount of work done. Clear? Everything is a silk saree, but what is the difference between a saree that is costing about 1 or 2 lakhs and costing some 5,000 to 10,000? The work done on the saree. The work done on the saree. The amount of work done on the saree determines value of the product. Where if the value of the product depends on the amount of work done, labor done, then recover the cost based on labor cost. Overhead divided by labor cost. So if material is prime, go with material cost. If labor is prime, work is prime, go with labor cost. If both are equally important, go with prime cost. What is prime cost? Direct material plus direct labor plus direct expenses, if any. Overheads can be recovered based on which one? Prime cost. Overheads can be charged based on which one? Mission hours. Overheads can be charged based on which one? Mission hours also. Like some factories, the amount of overheads of the factory depends upon how many hours for which you run the machine. Okay, so where machine made production is there, depending upon machine hours. Where if it is a handmade production, it can be worked out based on which one? Labor hours also. For example, you go for designing work, designing a flyer or a pamphlet or a t-shirt, they will absorb either based on number of hours which the machine is used or number of hours for which the labor is worked. This is called as which one? Labor, that is overhead recovery rate. Let us work out a problem. Let us work out a problem so that you will understand in a better way. Please wait. You can copy this later. A factory requires I said down to copy, yes or no. I'll give you time to copy, sufficient time to copy. As of now, just listen. As of now, just listen. Now, overheads can be observed based on these methods. Overheads can be observed based on these methods. And we are going to apply that overhead recovery rate. We are going to apply the overhead recovery rate in calculating the job cost. Overheads can be based on which one? Based on material cost. So 4 lakhs. Overheads is common, 4 lakhs. The last year overheads are 4 lakhs. This is like overheads divided by, what is the material cost? 10 lakhs into 100. 4 lakh divided by 10 lakhs into 100 will give us 40%, which means overheads are 40% of material cost. This one, 4 lakh divided by 8 lakhs into 100. Like 50% of which one? Labor cost. If you take weightage for both labor and material cost, it will be like 10 lakh plus 8 lakhs, 18 lakhs. It's like 4 lakhs divided by 22.222%. If you work out overheads based on hourly rates, it can be based on machine hours. It can be based on which one? Machine hours. How many machine hours we worked? 8,000 machine hours we worked. It's like it will give us rate per hour. 4,000 divided by 8,000. 4,000 divided by 8,000. This is the rate per hour. For every 1 hour the factory is operated, the cost is like $50 per hour. If it is going to be based on labor hours, okay, divided by 10,000. It is just an example for learning in the class. Practically, they will not apply all the methods. The method that will be applied will be depending upon what? Depending upon the type of industry and nature of product. So, we are going to observe overheads. Overheads can be based on material cost, can be labor cost, or it can be based on which one? Prime cost, or it can be based on which one? Machine hours, or it can be based on labor hours, or it can be based on which one? Labor hours. Okay, this is a solution for the job order. So a customer is coming with a job order. We are going to quote the price to the customers. How to absorb the overheads we had seen under different method. Okay. The job requires material and wages cost. Okay. What is the material cost required and wages cost required? That is common for all. 500 and what? 300. This will give us prime cost. Prime cost is 800. You absorb overheads by any method. You absorb overheads by what? Any method. The prime cost is going to be same. Prime cost is going to be same. How to absorb overheads? If you go with the first method, it will be like 500 into 40%. 500 into 40%. 200 based on material cost. 200. Okay, so if your this will give us factory cost. It's like 800 plus 200 based on material. If we recover overheads, making charges, okay, it will be like 1000. Based on wages, we work out it's like 50%. 300 into 50%. 300 into 50%, 150. It is going to be based on prime cost 22.22%. 800 into 22.22%. 800 into 22.22%. If it is going to be based on machine hours, it's like 50 per hour. Okay, 4 hours of machine is required. 4 hours of machine is required. 4 into 50 per hour. It will be like 200. If you are going to absorb overheads based on labor hours, it will be like 5 into 5 into how much? 40 per hour. 200. So if you add up, you will get which cost? Factory cost. So why factory cost is different? Yes, it depends upon the method of absorption. Minor variation will be there. It will be depending upon which one? The method of absorbing the overheads. Sir, whether any industry will follow all the 5 methods? No. You run a company, which method you follow depends on what? Nature of production process. Nature of production process will decide which method to use. Which method to use. This is called as which one? Overhead recovery rate. Overhead recovery rate means the rate at which the factory overheads are charged to whom? The customers. How to charge the factory overheads to the customers. That is called as which one? Overhead recovery rate. There are 3 percentage based methods based on material, based on labor, and based on overheads. Or it can be based on which one? Hourly rates. So which method is suitable for my company? It totally depends on the nature of production process and the nature of overheads. Nature of overheads. So will you go by the material cost based method or labor cost method? It purely depends on your nature of production process. Okay, so this is called as which one? Overheads recovery rate. How to charge the customers the overheads. So now please take it up. Same type of a problem under 4 or 5 methods. How to charge overheads we are going to see. You are going to try. Next. First copy this, then we will proceed. I'll give a same or similar question of the same model. I mean, the same type. You're going to try now. 1 minute. Take up and try this question. Try this. So first work out the percentages, then try to complete the overheads. Not 80,000, 800 material cost and 900 of labor cost. Please take it. Have you taken up this? Shall we proceed? This is what we had seen. Okay. Overheads cost and allocation we had seen. Accounting for overheads we had seen. Okay. Activity-based costing. Activity-based costing we'll see tomorrow. These two we'll see tomorrow. And this one we have done. How to allocate one service department to multiple users. Like Department X render service to ABC. Department Y render service to ABC. Then multiple shared service department we had seen now. Okay. Department D render services to A, B, C as well as E. Department E render services to A, B, C as well as D, like that. We had seen how to allocate service under cost allocation also. We have seen. Okay. So with this I would like to stop here. Next class we are going to see which one? Activity based costing, and of course variable and absorption costing, how to charge we are going to see. That is for tomorrow's or next session discussion. Before that, wait a minute, I'll just give you a homework question. I'll give you a homework question. You're going to try it at home. And of course, those who are accessing a recording, the last 5 minutes of the video will contain which one? Solution. Both primary, secondary, as well as what? Finding out the product cost we'll do. 1 minute. I'll just choose a question and show it in the screen. Try to solve this question. Okay. You can pause and solve the question. That is better. Just pause the video and start solving this question. I'll show the solution in the next 5 minutes. First, I request you to pause this and solve this. So expenses of production department P1, P2, P3, and which one? Expense of which department? Service department S1 and S2. I request you to consider. First, direct wages of S1 and S2 you will take it. Indirect wages, of course, you have to take it for all departments. Then rent and rates, allocate depreciation rate, lighting, power, canteen expenses, sundries, allocate. Then this is same like what we have done. S1 allocated to P1, P2, P3 as well as S2. S2 you take it and allocate to P1, P2 and P3 as well as S1. Compute overhead rate per hour. So same like the question that we have done. Then determine the cost 4 hours, 6 hours, 11 hours. Direct material is 1000 and direct labor cost is what? 600. I request you to try this. Pause and try this and then proceed seeing the solution. Must to try. First do primary distribution, then do secondary distribution, get the total cost divided by number of hours. Same like this. Do the primary distribution, then get the total cost after secondary distribution divided by number of hours will give us rate per hour. Material and labor cost is given for the job. Number of hours worked is also given. Number of hours worked is also given to us. Then work out the thing. 4 hours, 6 hours, 11 hours into rate per hour. You multiply and get which one? Overhead cost for the production department. Try this. Hope you have tried this. Primary distribution, let us see. If you have not tried, please pause, solve complete problem. Primary, secondary distribution, finding out rate per hour, then working out job cost. Please do everything completely. Please pause, stop, complete. Then I request you to continue from now on. Direct wages, we take it only for service department. Indirect wages already allocated and given. Rent and rates based on which one? Floor area. Depreciation based on value of mission, lighting based on light points, power based on hours power of mission, canteen expenses, number of employees, sundry and miscellaneous expenses. Canteen expenses based on not wages, number of employees. Because we don't give a different food for different people, okay? Different tea for different people. Okay, sundries based on which one? Direct wages you allocate and you get the total overheads. This is primary distribution. Done. Then do the secondary distribution. Either you can follow equation method or repeated distribution method to find out the answer. Hope you have done the primary distribution. Get the total 7,600, 7,600, 9,400, 4,700 and 1,700. Then form the equation. X is equal to 4,700 plus 10% of y is equal to 1,700 plus 10% of x. Solve this and you will get the value 4919. Take it and distribute. 2192, take it and distribute. Automatically S1 and S2 will become 0. Total overheads divided by number of hours will give us rate per hour. Total overheads divided by number of hours will give us what? Rate per hour. Using this rate per hour, we are going to calculate which one? The job cost. Please pause and take it. Okay, so we get the value 4919, 219, 2192. Allocate to A, P1, P2, P3 and S1, S2. Like that you allocate, then get the total overheads divided by number of hours will give us rate per hour. So primary distribution is over. Secondary distribution is over. We got the rate per hour. Using this, we prepare the cost sheet. Direct material 1000, direct labor is given, prime cost. Factory overheads 4 hours, 6 hours, 11 hours into this rate. 5 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours. We get the factory overhead 60, 1,600 plus 60. Total cost of production is 1,660. So the next class we'll see activity based costing. As I told you, we'll see which one? Activity based costing.